Hey guys, I'm back with a new video. In this video, let us learn about different types of form controls that we have in HTML. So head over to the HTML folder and create a new file and name it as form-fields.html. So let us quickly scaffold a basic HTML boilerplate here. So type exclamation mark and press tab, and let us change the title to types of form fields. So let us start with the form element first. And for now, let us omit the action attribute. We won't be needing it for this video. So first, let us talk about text fields. So for this, let us add an input field with the type of text. So input : text, press tab. So this is a basic text field. Let us see another type of input control that we can make use of. So next, let us add an input form field with the type of number. So input : number, and press tab. So this gives us input of type number. So let me write here h1 text field, and here let us say number field. So let us give this a preview in the browser to see how this looks. So here is our text field and here is our number field. For this input field, you can see we get these up and down buttons for changing the value each time, like this. So if you want to capture only numerical values, all you need to do is to set the type of the input form control to number. Next, we also have a password field that you must have seen in registration and login forms of a website, right? So for this, we just need to set the type of the input field to password. So input password, and let us give this a heading as well. And change this to password. So let us give this a preview. And let us type something in the password field, and you can see whatever we type in the password field appears masked. Next, we also have a date field. For this, we just need to set the type to date for an input field, h1 date field, and input : date, press tab. So this gives us type as date, and let us give this a preview. And you can see this gives us various months, various years to set up a date. So here I'm getting a calendar. This is entirely implemented in the browser by default, so nothing out of the box. We also have an email field, which we saw in the previous lesson where we created a basic form in HTML. So let us try that out as well. h1 email field, input : email, and press tab. So here is our email field. So whenever you need to create an email field, always use the type as email for the input field. Now these were a few of the input elements that I wanted to cover. If you want to learn more, you can head over to MDN Docs and search for input element there. The link for the same can be found down below in the description section of this video. Now what if we want to type multiple lines of text? So for that we would need to use a text area element. So let's go down, h1 text area field. So for this we have the text area element, press tab, and here the calls attribute represent the number of characters that you can have in a line, and the rows attribute represent the number of lines that you can have in the text area. So we can have 10 lines. So the rows in this case, as you can see, is 10, and you can use some other value as well. So let us say 3, and let us set the calls to 10. So this means that the number of lines that you can have in the text area are 3, and in each line you can have 10 characters at the max, right? Now we can have a couple of attributes on the input fields. So let me quickly show this to you in this video. So let us go back to our text field, and this time let us add a couple of attributes to it. So first, let us make use of the value attribute to pre-fill the input field with a starting value. So value, and set this to say some random text, lorem ipsum. Another useful attribute that is used quite often on the input fields is the placeholder attribute. So placeholder, and here let us say enter some text. So let us give this a preview in the browser. So you can see we have a starting value in our input field, and once we erase it, you can see a label right within the input field which says enter some text, which is the placeholder, right? So once we type something to the empty input field, the label disappears, right? Next, another useful attribute that we can make use of on the input elements is the read only attribute. So if we set this input to read only, then you can only see the value of the input field, but you will not be able to change it, right? Next, another useful attribute that we can apply on the input field is disabled. So let us add it right here, disabled. Now with disabled, the input field gets disabled and you will not be able to select the field. So let us give this a preview. And here you can see we are not able to select our field and it looks different from the enabled fields. Then another useful attribute that we can have on the form field is the max length. So if we set this to a value of say 20 for our input field. So let me remove this disabled attribute and set the max length to 20. So if we set this to a value of 20, the user will only be able to type 20 characters and no more. So let us try this out. Okay, so we need to remove the read only attribute as well in order to write something in our field. So once we reach the limit of 20 characters, we are not able to type more. Now we have a couple of other attributes that we can have on the input fields, which I will not be going over in this video, but the complete list of all the attributes that you can use on the input fields can be found down below in the description section. Now if you want to pre-fill the text area with some starting value, then for that we don't have any value attribute. For that we need to directly specify it as text between the opening and closing tags. So for starting value in case of text area, we just need to specify it right here, some starting value. And now let us give this a preview. So here you can see it is getting pre-populated with this starting value, right? So this was all I wanted to cover in this video. If you liked the video, do give it a thumbs up or comment down below if you have any query. From the next video onwards, we will start with CSS. So let's catch up in the very next one.